All right, everybody, we back with another episode of Wealth for the Culture. It's your host, Ollie Brady. Got a guest here today. I'm going to just call this man Mr. 30 before 30. His name is Eugene Marshall, man. He got a lot going on out of Shy. Doing real estate, I kind of looked into him. You know, he got the credit repair. I didn't even know he had a concealed carry business. So we're going to dive in all of this, throughout this show, man. But hey, my boy Eugene, how you doing first off?
I'm good, man. It's a beautiful day in Chicago. The weather is good. It's sunny outside. I'm kicking it, man. I'm getting back into the gym. I kind of fell off a little bit, but I'm getting back into my exercising routine. And other than that, man, my heart's still beating. I woke up this morning, I'm blessed.
Hey, hell yeah, bro. Can't even complain, man. That's a great thing right there. It's a beautiful thing. Now, how I usually start off these episodes, man, just go ahead and give a little bit of your background, introduce yourself to the people out there that may not know who you are.
Absolutely. So for those that's tuning in, welcome. We're glad to have you on board. Subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast with a friend, and let them know they need to tap in as soon as possible. For those who don't know me, my name is Eugene Marshall. Folks just call me Gene. Some people call me Mr. Marshall. I'm a professional real estate investor, predominantly on the south side of Chicago. I started with three units in 2018. Currently managing and have over 30 units in my portfolio. I'm also an author with my first book, The Power of an Idea. During the pandemic, it was my first book, and it's essentially a beginner's guide to turning any idea that you may have in any industry into massive profit. So how do I take a thought and actually materialize that thought and then monetize that thought so I can create generational wealth for my family and, more importantly, for my future heirs? So author, podcaster as well, started a podcast in 2019. It's temporarily on pause at the moment. Let's see what else. I have a rental car portfolio as well. Currently got 4 cars, getting ready to add a 5th car to the fleet at the end of some point middle of next year. I also have a concealed carry business within the state of Illinois as well, 6-figure plus business. And then I recently partnered with a tax firm, and now we have the largest and fastest growing tax firm in the Midwest by the name of Badu Tax Services. And I think I will stop and cut it there.
Damn, bro. Hey, my man got so much going on. And hey, it's great to see, man. It's great to see. Now, through all this, you still do your 9 to 5? Do you have a 9 to 5? Did you quit? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so I used to work a 9 to 5. I used to work in tech, specifically cybersecurity, for a pharmaceutical company, and I'll keep their name off. A pharmaceutical company, Fortune 100, whatever. And I left my job in March, decided to become a full-time entrepreneur. I put myself in a position to where, my cash flow was pretty much dominating or making more than what I was making in my 9 to 5, kept expenses low, had other businesses and things like that in place as well. So it allowed me to be able to transition out. I would have kept it. I'm not a 9 to 5 shamer. I'm not that entrepreneur. Yeah. I'm pro get money by income. So you take your money from your 9 to 5 and you accumulate multiple streams of income. That's my message. So yeah, man. I no more 9 to 5 for me, man. I left in March.
A question, because I like to ask it to people that actually left. Damn, you just left too. I like to ask it to people like, were you making? You said you was tech, so you had to be making 6 figures plus.
Yeah. I think my salary was like 115.
Okay, so what gets me though is like, what was the shift or what was going on in your mental for you to walk away from that? Because a lot of people, they'll see that, they like, I'm making 6 figures plus. I'm good. This is it. I'm chilling right here. I'm just gonna live my life.
Yeah, you know what? For me, it started at the at the very beginning. So immediately when I graduated from college, I had already had my mind made up. Like, yo, I want to be a full-time entrepreneur. I want to build wealth. I started to, I had already read books like Rich Dad Poor Dad,
okay,
Cash Flow Quadrant, Grant Cardone, Celebrity Soul. I was already reading these books, and it was kind of like, all right, well, I need to position myself in a manner where I can create generational wealth. And it's probably going to be hard as hell if I do it, try to leverage a job. I got to start a business, right? That's what they preach. Start a business. So I got to figure out something that I'm passionate about, something I'm good at, something that I can provide in the form of a product or service that'll allow me to be able to have the income that I need to buy more assets. And so I already had this in my mind going into the workforce. And then I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna do a year and be done. That was
Okay.
my plan. Like, all right, I'm gonna do a year and be done. And to be quite candid with the listeners here, and just in general, I had an unrealistic plan. My plan was as soon as I come on board, take all the money from my job, I'm gonna save it, buy real estate, I'm gonna be done in a year. All right, well, okay, well, I'm making over $4,000 a month and W-2 income. How do I create the proper systems in place to where I can match what I was making outside of that in 1 year? And I just wasn't there. So I kind of put myself in this state of where I felt like I wasn't really winning, really like accomplishing the goals I had set out for myself. But in actuality, I just didn't have realistic smart goals, right? Specific, measurable,
Yeah.
actually realistic and timely. I didn't have smart goals. I was falling victim to that, the social media, the books, and seeing other people being able to do things in a certain time, and I wanted to do it for myself. But in short, though, to answer the question, seat was already planted from college. Got to the company, and when I was there, it's really a slow building process. If you wanna have something that's sustainable, then you can't build it quick, right? You got to make sure that you got a solid foundation to stand on, because if you truly want to position yourself to walk away, you want to make sure that you got legs under that chair. Otherwise, you're gonna fall down, and sometimes it can hurt.
Yeah, for sure, and I appreciate how you hit on that smart goals, man. I don't think people understand like the importance of setting stuff that is specific, something that you can actually attain in a certain time period. 'Cause a lot of times, what we'll see, you mentioned it, you get caught up on that social media aspect of things, man. You start comparing yourself to them, and you might see somebody, that's 21-year-old millionaires out here right now. You might be seeing them going and getting there. You thinking, man, I'm behind, but really, you just on your own timeline. You everything going the way you need it to go for you. And that's why I tell people, if things happen for everybody the way they're supposed to happen, it's just you got to be consistent, man. And like, hey, if y'all ain't learned anything, just take some action, man. Take some actual steps to get that. Now,
Yeah,
what I want to get into, actually, what I was gonna say the real estate, but I want to get into this real estate, man, because you ain't even. How old are you, bro?
I'm 26.
26 years old. The man has 30 plus properties. How did you get into real estate? How did this even come about for you?
Yeah, so everything really, like a lot of entrepreneurs, man, they get started. For some of us, we kind of had the same story. For those that wasn't born into entrepreneurship, meaning father, brother, parent, whatever, mother, grandparent, who have you, didn't have a family business, then you wasn't born into entrepreneurship. So for those that wasn't born into entrepreneurship, we had to see that or get exposed to that information somewhere else. And 9 times out of 10, it's through a book, right? It's through a seminar, it's through somebody else that we're seeing, living a lifestyle that we may find, very fascinating and or interested in. But what was the vehicle that allowed them to be able to get there? And so Rich Dad Poor Dad for me, just like a lot of other entrepreneurs, was that foundation, right? It was that light bulb that was like, yo, if I want to be able to go to Miami whenever I want to go to Miami, then all right, cool. I need to create an asset that allow for me to be able to pay for my trip, right? That allow for me to be able to pay for the hotel stay and all the amenities that come with me being in Miami for however long I want to be there, right?
Sure.
So I started to really, really reframe my mind, and it was like, okay, cool. Whatever it is that I want in life, how do I get somebody else to pay for it? Right? Whatever it is that I want in life, how do I get somebody else to pay for it? And you get somebody else to pay for it through providing a product or a service. And I started to realize and understand that money comes from one place and one place only, and that's other people's bank accounts. That's it. It don't come from no place else. It comes from other people's bank accounts. So you have to put yourself in a position of value so that you can be able to receive what's yours. So it was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then a buddy of mine, we had made a pact. He was like, all right, cool. Immediately when we come out of college, we're gonna buy properties, right? And I kind of planted the seed in his head, got him to read these books. And so he ended up finding his property before me.
Okay.
And I kind of got frustrated, like, damn, like I've been looking longer than him. I'm the one that put him on. How he get a crib, a 2-flat before I get my 2-flat?
Yeah.
Now, again, comparing myself to other people, a problem that I had at the very beginning of my growing development phases, I started to get upset. I started to get a little bit of anxiety. And long story short, I ended up finding a property December 27 of 2018. I just made the cut of hitting the goal of buying a property for that year. I was like, all right, I got to meet my goal for the year, and that's buy a property. And so bought a 3-flat, and it was one of the worst deals that somebody could ever do. It's not the ideal. You get started in real estate, you buy a property that's turnkey ready, rent ready, move in ready, and then you can just cash flow it, and or buying a property that has tenants already there and you can cash flow it right away. It wasn't that story. This story was, bought a property, had 3 tenants in there, and these 3 tenants haven't paid rent in over a year. Right? These tenants have not paid rent over a year. And so I knew this going into the deal. I wasn't blind. However, I didn't know how much work it would have taken for me to be able to get those tenants out and or get these tenants to pay any form of rent. And so what happened was the previous landlord, she was in her 80s. She didn't have it in her to be able to keep up with them. I mean, she could have filed for eviction deal. She had to do hire an attorney, but she didn't. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll do it. And then I ended up trying to do a cash for keys situation. Didn't work. They ended up spending me. I had to spend a block like 8 times messing with these cats. And then long story short, I evicted them, hired a contractor. He screwed me over, fired his ass, became a general contractor, fixed the property myself, and started scaling from there.
Hold on. Let's back up because now I want to get into that. So this is your first deal?
First deal.
How much you pay for this? How much you pay? What's this? A multifamily?
Yeah, it's a 3-flat. How much did I get? I think I got it for 167, 157, 167.
Okay, well, you were just buying this just for like rental, or you was trying to flip it?
No, straight rental, cash flow, house hack. That was the plan.
Yeah. So what happened with the contract and all that? Like, what happened with all of this? Like,
yeah. So my contractor, what I tell people all the time, right? Whenever you're hiring a contractor, a general contractor, depending on your type of loan, if you have a 203K, so what happens is that general contractor has to front the money for the duration of the project. That general contractor gets paid back in what the bank called draws, right? So you want to make sure that you have a general contractor that's financially liquid enough to be able to hold his own or her own through those draws, right? So one draw, he may need 20,000 to get a bunch of work done before he can get another draw, whatever the case may be. So what I always tell folks to do is like, all right, cool. If your general contractor don't at a minimum have 15 to 20% of the total renovation budget liquid in a bank account, don't mess with them. Don't mess with them, because what's going to happen is they're going to end up robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that's going to delay your project. Or they're going to be sitting around asking you for additional capital to be able to help out with the project. In actuality, you don't supposed to be giving anything, because all of that is supported through the loan. And your general contractor is supposed to be liquid enough to be able to fund the renovation, and he or she gets their money on the back end, right, through the form of draws. So this general contractor, one, was just taking way too long to complete the work. And then by that time of just us not hitting timelines, I started getting very upset. Like, yo, like, what's going on? He would go days, not responding. And then when he would have people actually there working, it'd be like one person working, right? 2 people working. Yeah. Like, yeah, somebody working, but there's only one person here. So imagine doing a gut rehab and you only got one person that's coming to work every day. That's taking up too much time. And everybody knows, especially in a renovation space, that time is money. Right? Time is money. So long story short, it was the delay of time that was causing a lot of frustration. That delay of time also showed that he had no money, because he started asking me for money. Right? And then the bank still want their money every month. They don't care that you got a bad contract or not. They sitting there with their hands out like a little kid, like, yo, where my piece of candy at?
Yeah.
Right? So you either got that piece of candy or you don't. And if you ain't got it, you're going to hear that cry. And that cry going to be on your credit report. right? So that's essentially what happened. I ended up bringing a mentor of mine through to kind of like look over his work because I wanted to get rid of him. So I was finding other general contractors where he didn't know. Brought a mentor through, and they just started pointing out all this shit that was wrong. Like it was just regular regular drywall in my bathrooms. My plumbing wasn't ran right. It was just all these things that was just like, yo, all right, cool. One, you taking too long, you running out of money, and then you ain't doing my shit right. Right. So I ended up firing him and letting him go. I ended up suing him too. Yeah.
So so you didn't have to go through, you get the deal, you got a citizen that's sitting on a squad and just, now you got to evict them. Then you got to go find a GC that's to do the job and he messed you over. So you done pretty much got, you done hit on every because I'm just getting into real estate with my mentor out here in Dallas. And what you saying is you just done hit every roadblock you could hit. And on the first deal. So did you damn, try to figure out what made you even keep going? Like, why you didn't just give up on that deal and just be like, fuck it?
Mentally, I did give up.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, I did give up. I did give up. And once you mentally out of the game, you out of the game, right? You have to mentally get back realigned and get back in the fight. And so one of my mentors pulled me to the side. He was just like, "Hey, man, I can come on board and help and save this project for you, right? It's not too far from over. When you're a first time home buyer and you're renovating a property for the first time, you just don't know what you don't know. You can't see what somebody else that's been around the block 10 times can see. So for you're looking at this shit like it's the worst nightmare, right? Because your money tied up into the project, you paying the bank monthly. You know what I'm saying? All you see is your capital reserves is going lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. The less money you got in your bank account, the anxiety just goes up, 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 right? So it's just not a good feeling. And so he was just like, yo, man, I come on board. I help you out. I'll say the deal. However, before I do that, I need you to get back in the game first, right? And that looks like, he's like, no, if I come on board and help you out and you're not mentally in the game, then none of this going to matter anyway. You're going to quit again, right? So once we had that conversation, it's like, all right, you know what, cool. Instead of you doing the project for me, how can I make the most of this, right? Because I realize and understand that, people who don't pay attention, period.
That's a word right there. Hey, that's one thing I had to learn. I tell people that all the time now.
Yeah, I don't believe in free, right? Because if I give it to you free, you're not going to actually do it. You're not going to actually use it. You're not going to stick. It's not going to stick because you ain't got no skin in the game. That's why when you try to get loans from banks, right, especially to close on real estate, they want you to have some skin in the game, right? Depending on the deal, depending on the lending institution. So in this case, he was like, all right, cool. I'll help you out. I realize that people who don't pay attention. So I said, instead of you doing a deal for me, let me hire you as a consultant. Let me hire you as a consultant. Teach me the game so that I don't put myself in this position ever again. Because if he just come and say today, now he handicapped.
Yeah, because you ain't learned nothing.
I ain't learned nothing. I just gave my problems over to somebody else and they just came cleaned it up for me. That ain't how life works. Because you may not never know where you may be in this position again. So you either learn now or you feel the consequences later. And those consequences typically hurt your bank account and your mental state. Right? So that's kind of how we turned it around. I ended up hiring him as a consultant. I ended up becoming my own general contractor. And instead of me paying an additional contractor $20,000 to $30,000 to help me finish out this project, I made money on the deal.
Okay, right? So you're a GC too? Man.
I had by choice. I had to.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, damn, that's crazy. Man. So, all right, because it ain't. How much money did you lose in this, man? Because you had to pay rent because you was paying rent for the people because they weren't paying rent for you evicted them. You probably still had your own place to stay.
Exactly.
Damn, man, you was coming out of pocket to pay the GC. Damn, bro, how much was you in the hole, bro?
I was in a hole. minimum 50,000.
Ooh.
Yeah, minimum.
So you was 50 in the hole, 50 bands in the hole, and this man still kept going. That got like that take a different type of mentality right there. That's how you know you ain't gonna have like no quit in you. Because for somebody to be 50 bands in the hole and have somebody that's a mentor to them offer to get them up out of that, 9 times out of 10, somebody gonna take that and just keep it pushing and be done with it. So I definitely, hey, bro, more power to you, man, because that right there is why you where you at today. That's why you are Mr. 30 before 30, bro.
You gotta want it,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Like proper. I tell folks all the time: proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? And every day that you show up, you're making a conscious decision to either be proactive or reactive in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Every day that you wake up, you whether you know it or not, you're choosing one of the two. I'm either going to be proactive and I'm going to work on a better future or a better version of myself today by hitting my goals for the day, by doing what I got to do that's going to help me get better tomorrow, right? Or you're going to wake up today reacting based on previous things or decisions that you've made in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So you're either reacting or you're being proactive. I choose to be proactive, right? I choose to be that person that's working on my better self. And I understand that the first step to doing so is by defining my own self-image, because you will never rise above your own self-image that you have of yourself. Right. So if you look at yourself as somebody that's, that's a quitter, procrastinator, I mean, that's what you are. Right. If you place these limitations on yourself, like, oh, I'm just good with the 9 to 5, and that's it. That's cool. Right. But one source of income is too close to none. And for many of us, we have
Yes, sir.
insurance. We have insurance on our cars, especially if you got full coverage. The bank's required for you to get. Excuse me, especially if you finance in a vehicle, the bank's required for you to get full coverage. Right? We got insurance on our phones. We got renters insurance. Some of us, not all of us, got life insurance, but not many of us have actual insurance on our income, and that's the problem.
Yeah. Now you use what, an FHA for this property?
This was an FHA 203K.
Okay, so I want to understand, how was you able to get up to 30 properties, man? Like, how did you make this play happen?
Yeah, so I used to be in network marketing. So I've always had a talent for sales, always had a talent for just communicating effectively. Like I just know how to talk to people. And so I was in a network marketing company, and in this network marketing company, I had generated over 6 figures in this business. And even still to this day, I haven't sold anything for that business, but I'm still reaping the benefits because I put in the time, and I'm still getting overrides for some of the folks that I've trained and brought up. Right.
Okay.
So I made my first 6 figures in this network marketing company. And from there, I had a lot of capital reserves. So this network marketing company also taught you how to invest in real estate. It taught you several different things. And I was one of the facilitators within the Chicago area of the program. So we had an area in the northwest suburbs, and we had an area in Chicago. I was one of the founders of the Chicago space. And I was meeting a lot of other investors within the Chicago area as well. And so what happened was, with me being one of the founders of the Chicago area, it put me in a position of visibility. And what I mean by that was every week on a Wednesday when we met, I actually taught our entry level classes. So I'm in front of people that's like 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old on a weekly basis. Right. And so at the time, I started a credit repair business as well. So I had a lot of clients that had the income, they had the W-2 income students that had the W-2 income, but they didn't necessarily actually have the credit to buy. So they was not a qualified buyer from a lending perspective. But I had a credit repair company. So my credit repair company put me in a position to where I can create qualified buyers. And when you're buying distressed properties with the intentions to fix and flip, right? What does that person need when that person is done fixing a property? He or she needs a qualified buyer, right? Somebody that has the income, somebody that has the credit profile to be able to actually fund the deal. And what's even better than that is when you can position yourself in a fix and flip right? Right before you're done, you can bring in a qualified buyer, and now that qualified buyer has the opportunity to put the meats and bones, or the sauce, excuse me, on the meat and bones, right? How do you want this room to look? What
Oh man,
colors
you
you
got a
want,
whole lick right here. God damn.
right? So now you put them in position where you can get them an offer where they can't refuse, because now they have some power or a narrative to be able to say, hey, this is how I want my house to look, right? And you save time because you don't got to list the property for so long, because you already created a pipeline of qualified buyers. This was the thought process. Now,
Okay.
what happened was, what I ended up doing instead was, a lot of these students that I was fixing their credit for, they just didn't know what to do, right? Good people, good-hearted folks, but some people just don't have the aggressiveness to be able to actually go out and do things. So what I tell people all the time, all you need in real estate to be successful is the money, the time, or the relationships.
Okay.
Money, time, or the relationships, right? You don't need all three. You just need one of the three. And you have to sit back and start identifying to yourself, okay, which of these three do I have? If I ain't got the money, do I got the time? If I ain't got the time, do I got the relationships? Do I have the lending institution that can 100% finance us? Do I have the general contractor that's seasoned with hella experience, right? Do I have the inspector that I know that's going to come in and give us a good look and a detailed inspection report on this property, right? So you got to figure out where do you lay in that triangle, and then start using those tools to allow you to get an equitable position inside of a deal by partnering with somebody, right? So in this case, my students, they didn't know how to analyze properties. They didn't know how to find properties. All the properties they saw on the MLS was flying off the shelf because Chicago market is hot,
Yeah.
right?
Market
And
hot
so
here.
it's crazy. And what happened was, it's like, all right, cool, Gene, how can you help me? How can you help me? So I had a handful of students that I was doing wholesale deals with. So in the city of Chicago, or the state of Illinois, rather, you can't do more than 2 wholesale deals within a 12-month interval. It might be 1 now, but last time I checked, it was 2. So
Okay.
I had a wholesaling business too, so I was doing a lot of wholesaling. So I had a handful of students doing wholesaling, and then I had a handful of students that I didn't really know what to do with. So I started repairing their credit. Now they're a qualified buyer. I have a 9 to 5, 6-figure 9 to 5, and then I made 6 figures in this network marketing company. Plus, I got other things that's generating me income on the side as well. So I got the capital, right? So what I ended up doing was, as I repaired my students' credit, I ended up partnering with them on deals. So now they got the credit in the income, the W-2 income, but they ain't got no capital reserves. But I do, right? So I brought the knowledge to the table, and I brought the money to the table, right? So that allowed us to scale. So I ended up partnering with my students to scale up to 31 units.
Dang. So what do y'all mainly do? Y'all do like flips or what? Like is it all
No, so we
rentals?
just doing, yeah, just straight rentals, just straight rentals.
And automatic. So I guess you get your money on the back end as they start cash flowing. They'll pay you back. Or
Yeah, so right now, the last few properties that I bought, straight cash flow. The moment that we buy, we making money. Right? The moment that we buy, we making money.
okay.
So we ain't gotta do no renovating, we ain't gotta do anything. It's tenants already in there, they've been screened. We got a copy of the rent roll, they paying on time. As soon as we close, we making money. Right? And the way I set things up for me is the down payment that I put down, right? I get 100% of that back. I get 100% of that back before we split anything on a 50-50 partnership. So for me, it's infinite return.
Okay.
It's infinite return because I'm getting my money back before I split anything 50-50. And I got the experience and the expertise to be able to analyze deals, right? And find the right deals that best suit our position.
Hey man, hey, he just dropped free game for real. So you eating off of these deals You fixing their credit. Like, just take this all in because I had to really like listen in because, damn, you 26.
You be working out here, man.
What? Hey, this man eating off credit repair, fixing their credit up, allowing them to go get the properties, basically being the private money for them, get his money back and still eat off the deal for the whole mortgage. Like, if that ain't a lick, I don't know what it is, man. God damn. That's crazy. And
You gotta get smart.
you still got like 3 other businesses you got going too, because you mentioned the concealed carry. How did that even like? I didn't even know that was a 6-figure business. How did you get into that?
Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, I got a course getting ready to drop. Get ready to drop on that soon. But on the concealed carry tip, I've always been fascinated with firearms, man. I got everything you could probably think of. Well, not a whole bunch, but I got good stuff. You know, AR, AKs, all that good stuff.
You
Nice
coming
ones.
to the right state then.
Yeah, exactly,
That's for
exactly.
sure.
So I'm an advocate of gun ownership. I'm an advocate of gun education, personally. And so what happened was I was always fascinated with guns, and I always just went to the gun range. And I had a buddy of mine that was a concealed carry instructor, and I was sending all these people to him. And then some down on me was like, "Yo, I'm sending all these people to you. Let me get a portion of this."
Yeah.
And he was like, "All right, cool. I'll give you 30%, 40% or something like that." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I was still sending them folks. I was getting my 30%, but I was like, "Yo, screw this. I need to become a concealed carry instructor at this point." And so I ended up becoming a concealed carry instructor. And it's just like any other business. You just got to get the name out and you got to start marketing, right? Once you get the name out and you start marketing, it's over from there. I leverage my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, to help me get my brand out there in the city of Chicago. Brothers supporting me, my other network supporting me, and running ads, the whole thing. So now I got a pipeline of clients that's just coming in, and then it's word of mouth too, and then it's Chicago.
Yeah.
Everybody wants
I'm
their
about to say
concealed carry
everybody
license.
want to go out there, yeah.
You got King. The more zones Lil Durk make,
Yup.
somebody else like, yo, I need my concealed carry license. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just me joking around. I'm not throwing no shots at Lil Durk or nothing like that. Great brother, good music. So yeah, so that's how I built up the brand from there. And so that business is easy, bro. It's an easy 6-figure business. However, at the beginning stages, it does require a lot of time because you are the instructor at the beginning, right? However, the way I set things up, and I'll talk more about it in the course, is how to position yourself so that the business is passive. At the beginning, it's hands-on, right? Because you're working in the business, you're building a brand up, you're teaching, you're getting the word out there. And from there, you got to put systems in place to create it passively. So now I don't do any classes personally at all. I barely even promote it. I don't have to anymore, right? Because the brand is already out and the clientele is already there. And so now I've hired instructors to teach the course for me, right? They're not teaching the course for me. They're teaching the course on behalf of the company, right? They're teaching the course on behalf of the company. So now, as a instructor, they don't have to go and find leads. They don't got to go find leads. The leads is already there. And so all I got to do is just host the classes. So we have a 70-30 split, personally. A 70-30 split with, depending on the instructor, we have a 70-30 split, right? So they take 70%, I take 30%, but now my business is passive. I don't have to do anything
anymore. Damn, man. Hey, you done figured out a way. Jeez. Man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is, hey, yeah, you going, yeah, I'm definitely got to link with you when you get out here, bro. This is crazy. And you got rental cars.
And I got the rental cars. Yeah.
How many rental cars you got? Because I just started doing Turo. That's what I'm focused on right now.
I got 4.
Okay, now how much you bringing in 6 figures with that too?
Oh, 4, no, 4, not 6 figures.
Oh, yeah,
Depends. So
still
I got
cash flow.
bringing in, yeah, oh yes, cash flow. I think I'm probably bringing in like 25, 2,800, sometimes 34. Yeah, I would probably say like between 25 and 34 a month on 4 cars. And then I'm gonna add a Tesla to the fleet. So the Tesla's gonna be predominantly for me. I don't even need to rent it out. I mean, the other cars will already be paying for it, so I don't need to rent it out. But I mean, I want everything around me to be making money.
I
So
feel
you
you,
know,
man.
I'm
Turn
I'm
the
I'm, I'm gonna
liabilities
rent
into
that out.
assets.
Yeah, everything got to make some cash around here.
Yep, and people, my man said, man, he got all his assets paying for anything he want to go get. So, hey, essentially, man, just living life. He got his mentors in place, and just speak on that, because like, when did you like get in? Like, I guess when did you start getting your mentors? Because I mean, for me, I just started getting mentors now, like a couple years ago. For you, it seemed like you did it pretty early. Like, did you have something like college, high school? What?
Yeah, I had mentors in high school. I had mentors in high school at the time. Those mentors, and then you have sometimes we have mentors for a season.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have mentors that's there, gonna be there for the rest of your life. So the mentors that I had in high school, those mentors were mentors that were there are there for the rest of my life. But they was also there supporting me in a season as well. So they was doing both. So at that time, I wasn't an entrepreneur. I didn't have that mindset. I was more of a kid that was lost, right? What do I mean by lost? I mean by, putting my energy in activities that doesn't necessarily reflect who I am as an individual, right? So on the streets, kicking it, man, drinking, smoking weed, on the block, you know what I'm saying? Like doing what you do when you on the block, when you on the south side of Chicago, growing up in Roseland. I was that dude, right? I graduated from college with a 1.6 GPA. I wasn't the smartest person in the room. However, that was by choice, honestly, because I chose not to apply myself. I chose to hang with the wrong person. I chose to just come be the fresh dude at the school, or beat Gene from the Wild Hunters. You know what I'm saying? I chose to be that person. When actuality, deep down, I was a really goal driven, smart individual. I just chose not to apply myself because I wanted to be cool, right? And so what happened was, those mentors at that time helped me through that season. And then those same mentors also own real estate and run multiple businesses too,
Okay,
right?
I
And
got you.
so I'm still accumulating more mentors, as this game unfolds. Andre Hatchett is a mentor of mine. You know what I'm saying? I got plenty of mentors. I got mentors that's younger than me,
Yes, sir.
right? I got mentors that's my age. So, and what happens is for a lot of us, especially in our culture, is we unfortunately got a pride thing, and we don't like to humble ourselves and partner with people or learn from folks that is sometimes younger than us, or smarter than us, because we want to be in competition. When in actuality, there is no competition because there is no shortage of success. Right? It's enough out there for you and for me.
Man, hey, you talk. Hey, you got a lot of wisdom to you, man. A lot of wisdom to you, a lot of game to you, man. But hey, bro, for one, I just want to thank you for coming on the show, bro. Because I reached out to you, just saying, hey, I didn't know if you was gonna say yes or not. I appreciate you, man. Then I found out you coming to Dallas, so definitely got to link with you, man. Chop it up, go make some moves, even maybe make some money together at one point. I don't know, but I definitely, hey, I like your vibe, man. You definitely putting on for the, you putting on for your city, man. You putting on for your culture, bro, and I appreciate that. And you, after just having this conversation, and
Oh man.
it just you come across like, I'm just happy to be able to come across, especially black people that's willing to collaborate with people, because it ain't always like you mentioned. A lot of people do have that ego to them and that pride to them, and they don't want to collaborate. They don't want to do it. They don't realize there's enough money. I tell people this all the time. Like, first you got to be accountable, understand like this is what it is, but then you got to understand like everybody can eat. It ain't just got to be one
Right.
person. Like, if you, to me, your whole team need to be eating. I always say on the show, what good is success if everybody around you still struggling, man? So people got to understand that you got to reach and help everybody else out. So I just want to thank you again, brother. I'm gonna get to this last segment, man. Talk to the culture. I just run off 5 questions for you, brother, and we go and wrap this up. For my
Let's
first
do it, bro.
question, what does wealth look like to you, man?
Wealth looks like infinite resources. In short, if I could put it in 2 words, wealth, infinite resources, man. I got the ability, the capability, the power to do anything that I want when I want. My impact and my sacrifices are going to outlive me. for generations to come because I got the systems and the processes in place and the know-how and the knowledge to be able to be a man and pass down that information to my children. So for me, I would say wealth is infinite resources, and that was off the fly.
Hey, Rush, I rock with that. Now I always get a book recommendation for everybody, but it can't be Rich Dad Poor Dad no more. We can't. Gotta be something different.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So, yeah, I think I gotta give you two. I gotta give you two.
For sure.
First one, "You Were Born Rich" by Bob Proctor.
Okay.
Read that book every year. I need it's about that time for me to read it again. Second book, Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. Them two books you should read every single year, especially Outwitting the Devil. That
I
book,
just read that book recently, and that book changed my whole perspective on a lot of things. Actually, somebody
man,
put me on
that
that
book
book.
will wake you up.
Yes, sir.
Literally.
Next question. Give me one thing that you think the Black community needs to improve on.
Economic empowerment.
Okay. And I want to know this, bro, because I like to ask all my guests that come on this, man. What's next for you? Where you see yourself like the next year or two?
Next year or two, I see myself living in Dallas. I see myself seven figures liquid, seven figures
Okay.
liquid, 7-figure net worth. We did that. So now 7 figures liquid, man, and then I'll toss the millionaire title around. From there, Lord willing, maybe I have a young lady and I can start prepping that family structure, man, and getting things together. We ain't getting no younger, but that's if Lord willing. But other than that, the next couple years is just gonna be just grind mode. Getting smarter, developing personally more, and putting on for the culture and giving back. Same thing I'm doing now, but more at an amplified pace.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And last thing, man, just plug in how people can find you, social medias, all that.
Yeah, well, first off, my brother, I definitely appreciate you for for reaching out and letting me bless the stage. For those that's been listening, man, rock with this brother. Stay the course. This man is doing what he needs to do in order to put on for the culture, work for the culture, man. So for me, you can find me at __ Mr. Marshall on Instagram and Twitter, predominantly on Instagram, not really heavy on Twitter, but I'm still on there. And then for those that's looking to pick up my real estate rehab course, you can get it at therenogame.com, or you can check it out in the show notes or whatever. And then Ollie can hook y'all up, man.
Yes, sir, bro. And I appreciate you. I'm gonna have all that in the show notes. Y'all know y'all go tap in with my boy because he doing too much, man. I help y'all not to tap in. And at the end of the day, we all resources, man. That's what I need people to understand. So the same way somebody gonna leverage you, leverage them. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to tell people. Connections, man. You never know what can come from them. So, like we always say on the show, we're good at success for everybody right. You still struggling, man. So each one reach one, each one teach one, man. And I appreciate my boy Eugene coming through, dropping the game, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Let's get it.